Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Well, today I'm reviewing the new Campesino Toro. This is, I'm guessing, it is definitely 6 inches long, and I'm guessing it's a 52 ring gauge because that's what it looks like to me. I cannot find a lot of information on these cigars. There is the density. And it has a very dense feel in the hand. Now, I have heard of these cigars. I've seen talk about these cigars. I try to go to the website, which is actually Tobaccuaria 1844, and I would have to spell that to tell you what it is, .com, and it's under construction. It's not quite ready. It's a Dominican company. It's basically a Dominican Puro. What I have found on the cigar is it has a Dominican HVA Navarrete wrapper. The binder is Dominican Criollo 98, and the filler is Dominican. And that's really all I know. I simply cannot find. I purchased this cigar at a shop, so I know they exist, and you've probably heard of them. But I dare you to find information on the internet about it, which is what I try to do. So we're going to review it. It is very popular. So I want to find out what it's like. Let's do it. As I said, the cigar has a dense feel in the hand. I always look at that as a good sign. At least there's a lot going on there. It's packed really nicely. Now, if it draws well, we'll have a deal here. Oh, I hope that works. Oh yeah. Look at that cut. I'm simply proud of it because I took off just so little. And such a dense feeling cigar and a good draw. Win. This is a very different cigar. The initial flavors, and it has taken me a half inch to get these because it's so different than I've had recently or maybe ever. The initial flavors is pretty much something on the order of, this is going to sound weird, cinnamon, white chocolate, and figs. If you've ever had fig preserves, think about that flavor. Add in white chocolate and cinnamon. Mix that in your mind. That's what I'm getting. I've never described those flavors before together. First time for everything. So that's how I'm starting it now. Hold on. The pepper is not very bold. It's white pepper, a low level, actually, a low grade white pepper at about 6.5. I wouldn't even call it a 7. It's not very peppery. The finish is something like a dry wood, a dry oak, with just a touch, a smidge of lingering white pepper. So this is an unusual start. I don't know where we're going from here. This is the only sample I have, only one I bought. So I'm going to describe it as we go, but that's where it starts. Let's see where we go from here. Well, I guess I'm an inch or an inch and a half, maybe close to it in. And the cigar has settled down and it's changing. It's pretty much now a combination of plum, cinnamon, a touch of butter. The white pepper has intensified. Now it's up to about 7.5. And that's good. I would call it medium bodied. The finish is now is sweeter. It's sort of like, has a lot of aspects of honey. And the lingering white pepper is up. It's much stronger white pepper, much more intense, and it's got a nice little tingle. So that's a significant change all around. A change for the better, in my opinion. As long as it took to get the initial flavors, and now after an inch and a half, how it's developed and changed, we may see more changes. I'm sort of hoping we do because I like that. So it's made a nice change for the better so far. Well, I guess I'm at the midpoint, maybe just beyond it. And there really hasn't been a lot of change since I saw you last. The sweetness is nice. It's quite sweet, actually. That's sort of a tangy plum flavor with some cinnamon notes. And it has just a little bit of, a little butteriness to it. It's very nice. As far as the low-level flavors, which I've never have not spoken about to this point, there may be a low-grade coffee at the base, but by and large, the three main flavors are pretty much what you get. But you could probably add a very low amount of coffee at the base just to give it a little bottom flavor, because it's there, but it's not like you pick up on it greatly. It's still medium bodied, sort of leaning toward medium to full. It's not a very full bodied cigar, but it's sort of leaning toward medium to full. The finish is about the same. Still very sweet, very much like honey. And I eat honey every day, so I know what honey tastes like. The pepper remains pretty good as it was the last segment. So that's where we are. It's not a lot of changes, but the sweetness is very good. It's very sweet. That's good to me. About 2 inches or so remaining. We're in the final third. And the coffee notes are starting to come out a lot. Before I told you, last segment, I told you that they were like faint and there, but they're really coming out now. Also, I'm getting in addition to the front end flavors that I've described, I'm getting now quite a bit of brown sugar mixed in with that sweet plum and cinnamon. So sweet tangy plum, cinnamon, brown sugar, touch of butter, and a lot of black coffee now at the base. I would call the cigar medium to full bodied now. And the finish, while still reminding me a lot of honey, it has, I don't know, something else there. Almost like a little brown sugar added in there too. So anyway, that's where we are. It's really at this point, I think, settled down to a very good cigar at this point. Now, unfortunately, we're in the final third, but it's been good up to now, but it's really coming to its own as far as I'm concerned right now. Well, we are down to the end, so let's wrap it up. Cigar continued to make little changes. I lost the cinnamon notes, but I really got a lot more of the coffee notes. The plum stayed there, but it was very much overshadowed by those heavy coffee notes. The brown sugar stayed there also with that plum. You could still get the brown sugar in the plum, but it was just the coffee was so intense. Medium to full bodied, almost leaning toward full bodied. Pepper remained very good. Finish is about the same. The cigar is what I'll call a complex cigar. It went in so many directions. It changed. It took a while to even pin down the flavors, if you remember at the beginning. So it's been a very good cigar. Complex, changing, Nice flavors, interesting flavors, very different flavors in some aspects. But I enjoyed the cigar. I'm rating it a 92. I really have not had a cigar this different in a long time. It had so many different flavors. So it's a pretty good cigar. You ought to try it. It's out there. And I really can't remember what it cost. I think it was around the $8 or $9 range. But it's a very good cigar. Look for it on shelves in your shop. Maybe even ask for them. So there you have it. The Campesino Toro.